Hello, and welcome back to Monifactory. Last time we set up the Naquata line over here to process Naquata into Trinium, Naquadria, and Naquata enriched Naquata. We also did a whole lot of complaining, built this little area right here, I still haven't finished the roof of it, built the fusion reactor, built the substation, and built some turbines. I'll probably put in more turbines as we need them, but for now 4 is just fine. We are actually full on the substation here, because we still have the cetane boosted diesel, still just running passively. And this only turns on when we need it. I should probably do something with this helium here, but we'll worry about that later. This time I haven't done anything between episodes because the last one took too long, so I haven't really had the time to. So let's just jump straight to the docket today. I think it's time for infrastructure, and a lot more of it and a lot better of it. So to this end, I want all the multiblocks with autocrafting capabilities. Everything in here should have a multiblock for it, except maybe the alloy smelter. Or I guess we do have a multi-block alloy smelter as the ABS, but we'll come back to that. That's like 2 or 3 down on the docket. We might not need like a multi-block autoclave yet, but I'm sure we will in the future. We definitely need an extractor, a better polarizer, solidifiers, lathe, mixers, chemical bath, a macerator would be good, and the rest of these things would be nice. I would also like some more passive stuff. In particular, I have a small list of things up here. HSS G and S should be on passive at this point, I believe. Signalum probably should be as well. Rhodium-plated Lumium Palladium I definitely want as well because we use these in LED machine holes, which I imagine we'll use frequently very soon. Inderium is the superconductor for ZPM and who knows what else. And Naquata alloy is what we use for ZPM machine casings, which is, I'm sure, very important as well. I would then like a quad alloy blast smelter because the single one we have over in EV is not good enough. It just isn't. As I found out last time, it's just not, sufficient. We want at least 4, maybe 8, I don't know, we'll figure it out. It depends on how hard it's going to be to, do autocrafting with. I would like trinium coils. Trinium coils are not too far from us if we head down here to the quest book. We just need the ZPM assembler, machine hull, and we can theoretically make them, but I'm sure we need more trinium. I should probably start smelting some of that actually, given how much power we now have. And I would like to do ore processing as well, because we don't have good ore processing yet. We have the HV ones, but that's not good. It's just not fast enough. Not even close. And it's not scalable in the way that I would like it to be. So I think ore processing we're going to put maybe up here on one of these higher levels. I think our autocrafting multis are going to be over either on this side or this side. As much as I would like the space in the AE2 building we had before, it's not going to be enough for everything. It just won't be. It would be a fool's errand to try and retrofit it, so we're not going to try. Then, and only then, after we finish everything, will I consider the Tier 4 rocket, which I would say is the capstone to this episode. If we get there. Not only would it be a very good capstone to the episode, as it would be our first big quest into feeding the machine chapter, but we also get some very good ores from here, like Naquata, Caymanite, which is trinium, Stolzite, which I believe is tungsten, Iridiosmine, which take a guess, Osmiridium, which take a guess, and gelid cryothemy as a fluid vein might come into handy. I imagine that's probably a lot easier than, getting a bunch of passive, but we'll see what we need that much gelid cryothemy for. I would be surprised if we truly need that much, but I've been surprised by many things in the past. Anyway, let's get started. So each of these is obviously a multi-block. We'll go one by one here. The main blocks themselves won't be that impressive. They'll all be just some form of wacky alloy that we can make in the ABS, probably a long time ago, and some IV components which are no longer any trouble to us. I also upgraded the tungsten steel EBF, so it should be going at, I think it was like 4 times speed now. It's like 7 seconds per tungsten steel, which is amazing, really. I love that. It used to be 37 seconds, which I was surprised to see that, but I suppose it makes sense. And of course, there'll be some variety of casing. For a number of these, I believe, are the watertight casings. I believe all of these ones that will look like they're watertight are watertight casings. Some exceptions to this include the reaction-safe mixing casings for the mixing vessel, the shock-proof casing for the cutting saw, and... oh, no, just the cutting saw. I just want 2 cutting saws, one for a lathe and one for a cutter. The maceration tower, which requires some secure maceration casing, and a large electromagnet, which requires some non-conducting casing. Again, a lot of these are just wacky alloys we make in the ABS here. Like, this is an HV recipe with a copper nickel coil. This is probably like a 20-second recipe at this point. Like, look at this. 2 minutes at, super low tier. This is probably 10 seconds for us. And while I'm sure it'd probably be a good idea to get the ABSs going now, and by the ABSs I mean the quad ABS, we're not going to, because I want better autocrafting, because I feel like making 4 ABSs would be really taxing on our current setup. So I'm going to go make a material list, and I will be back shortly. Either that, or you'll just see a big pile of stuff in this here barrel. that probably took longer than will be reflected in the video time, but that's alright. Look at all of these large machines we now have. You may be familiar with the assembling machine, bender, wire mill, and extruder, but have you met lathe, mixer, polarizer, extractor, which one's this one? Fluid solidifier, autoclave, clean cutter, and macerator. I bet you haven't. No, I bet you have. They're just, these are the big ones. They're pretty. I like these colors a lot more than those ones. These ones are dingy, and I mean, that one's okay, but these three are like super dingy, and these ones are all like, moderately colorful, except for the polarizer, but even gray is kind of colorful among, that. I have noticed a problem, however, and it's not just the fact that there's no good walkway over there. Let's say I want to make a bunch of aluminium plates, like, I don't know, let's make like 8 stacks, who cares, really? It's doing these like 2 at a time when we have at least 4 parallels, and we'll have more eventually. So we're gonna need to go through some of these little recipes and beef them up from 1s to like a stack at a time or something. Not all of them, of course, but, some of them. I think that's something I'll do another time, though, as I am a little Minecrafted out. I've been doing this for, let me check the time, about 6 or 7 hours. Yes, I know you can do the hands thing now, but I get to do this now. Oh, I misclicked. No, that was so embarrassing. I would cut that and try again, but it was quite funny. Alright, break time. I'll come back later and passive some stuff and probably have some alloy blast melters ready to go. Oh, and for anyone who cares, look at how well organized my things are. Look at the multi-bender. Look at this cutter. Fluid solidifier ingots are done by tier plastic that we got. That's pretty cool. The lathe. Wow, incredible. I know. I believe I need to go actually add a cleaning room hatch to one of these things for these. So let me go, do some stuff, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've been doing a little bit of work between cuts here, and I need you to bear with me. You're gonna see something really ugly, and I need you to reserve your judgment. It's not bad, it's just different. Very, very different. So let me talk you through any of this. So we have 4 alloy blast melters, and we could dedicate 1 to every couple circuits. For example, we could have 12, 13, 14 here and have it on 2, and 15, 16, and presumably 2 or whatever on another 2. But we would be sacrificing parallels if we need to be doing a large craft, say a ton of osmiridium. So we're doing some wireless stuff. Drawer controllers are awesome for this. They're like wireless pattern P2Ps, which I'll explain what these are all for shortly. So each of these drawer controllers will be hooked up to some number of drawers down here. So the idea is we'll have 5 2x2 drawers on each of these input buses, and we'll have 5 fluid drawers that will all push into a quadruple hatch here. Each of these drawer controllers will be linked to one of them. So for example, this one right here is circuit 12 and will affect this blast melter here. This one will affect the second one, this one the third, etc. And we'll largely be copying what we're doing at the other blast melter setup. It'll just be a lot more complicated and scary to look at because there's so many more things going on. The output hatches will be down here. We'll be moving these to a consolidated area to do the fluid solidifying. I believe we have something for this over here, but let me double check. We do not, but we might be able to. I may be able to have another one of those tag storage buses, but I'm also considering just putting another double vacuum freezer over here. It might be simpler. I'm not sure if I want to do that because I may want space to expand to another 4 ABSs. However, I'm not sure when we would need that per se. We get the mega one here that has paralleling at UHV in the assembly line once we have UHV circuits and neutronium and UV parts. So that would be... Oh, actually, that's not as far away as I would have thought. We're quite close to actually touching ZPM, not in a meaningful way, but just enough. I think 4 is fine. I think 4 will be fine. We'll set up 2 vacuum freezers over here, and that will be where we'll cool all our stuff. We could set up a mega one, and it might be worth doing that. The bulk blast chiller here. It's big, but it's not oppressively big. It's a 6 forward, 6 by 7 by 11. and it's 11 wide, so like the width is not a big deal. The thing I'd be worried about is the footprint here being a 6x7, I know. But I think that would be okay. There should be 7 spaces here. Just barely. Yeah. Eesh. Scary. Yeah, so I think we'll set up a bulk blast chiller here once we get access to it, but until then we'll just use like 2 vacuum freezers. So let me go do some really awkward wiring, and hopefully no one else on planet Earth will have to see this ever again. So the other thing here is we have these pattern P2Ps. If you're unfamiliar how these work, we have this pattern provider here, which is the circuit 12. And so it'll go into this input here, and it will output to each of these output P2Ps. And basically, it treats each of these as a parallel option. So like this will be a machine to send a pattern to, this will be a machine to send a pattern to, this will be a machine to send a pattern to, and this will be a machine to send a pattern to. And that is true. This controller is this machine, this controller is that machine, this controller is that machine, etc. They're just all wireless, like controllers that are like dual interfaces, sort of. Or like dual input buses. Hatches? Do I have the option of like a dual input something or other? LuV dual input hatch. 2 tanks, 4 item slots. That's like almost what I need? I think sometimes I need 3 fluids though, right? So this would be what I would want. A ZPM one. I think the ZPM ones would be the ones we would really want for this, but we don't really have access to that, so this works instead. It's janky, but it works, so be quiet. So I think, as it stands, I am willing to put these together and give it a sort of test run. We can't solidify the molten fluids yet, but that's okay. The vacuum freezers are on the way. The saws are on the way. Is that a hip reference? Does anyone get that one? You can let me know in the comments if you too like that cool reference to your childhood. I hate that. I hate that. It doesn't update sometimes, and it scares me that I've used 2 little casings and I have to redesign the whole thing, but no, we're fine, we're fine. Alrighty, so we have it all set up here. We have all the wiring hooked up. So let's see if this parallels right. So I would like to make some rhodium-plated lumium palladium, and I believe it's 6 per batch, so if we make, say, 10, it should use 2 separate... Oh, it does! What if I ask for 10 more? Awesome! That's great! Wonderful! Okay, cool, cool. Still takes a while, but that's 4 times faster. What we don't have hooked up is the vacuum freezers, but that's okay because they should be basically ready to build now. Well, let's give the thing a proper stress test. Let's request 4 stacks of HSSG. It might take a bit to grind up all the tungsten steel, but it should be coming through pretty shortly. Right? Did it? It says it is. It says it's crafting a lot, actually. Ah! It would help if I move the patterns over. Alright, now let's try 4 stacks of this stuff. How fast will this go? And we also want to make sure that it all works. Well, it looks pretty good to me. 37 seconds for, I think that's like 9 or so ingots. That's not terrible. 4 seconds per ingot at 4 parallels should be 1 second per ingot. That should be like a 4-minute recipe for 4 stacks of this. That's pretty good. That's not bad at all. I guess the other bottleneck to consider would be if the vacuum freezers are fast enough, but I hope they should be. 2 seconds per ingot, that should be okay, I think. I mean, yeah, this is really fast. I'll come back in a second and it'll say the exact craft time, but that's really great, honestly. I can't wait to get some better coils for this, or maybe even better energy hatches. We're doing LuV here because there's no real reason not to. This is the thing that we would probably want to go the fastest out of anything, really, so, you know. The vacuum freezers are at IV because I just kind of didn't feel like spending for the another LuV converter. But hey, maybe it's not that hard to, given that rhodium-plated, ludium, palladium, whatever, is not that bad anymore. Well, while that's all cooking, let me talk about a couple other things that I was doing. For one, I made this little walkway better. I mentioned that it was bad earlier, so it's less bad. It still needs a bit of work, but it's better. I need to do the bottom down there with the Eclipse base, but for the most part it's alright. I added those water things that I said I was going to at some point in the past. I added some little bubble columns because I thought that would look cool, and I think they do. A strong thank you to username Bazby for giving me a cool fan design here. They joined the Discord for seemingly the exclusive purpose of helping me with this, so much appreciated. I have also been slowly making myself a better hub of operations. HV is not bad, but we need something better. And so I extended the IV tower quite a lot. You might have seen the start of this at the beginning of the video. We currently have no way up here besides a wand of, what was this? Staff of Traveling, my mistake. It's not a wand, it's a staff. We might put like an elevator up here, but I don't really see a need to necessarily. I do love my walkable bases, don't mistake me, but, you know, this is different. It's also really dark up here. It's not done up here. I need to move some stuff up there still. Well, basically everything, actually. But at that point, I think I'm probably going to want to upgrade our storage again as well, because we're starting to finally, like, backlog here. Like, we're starting to finally get a little full on our storage of all these barrels, which is kind of crazy that 8 stainless steel barrels with 2 stack upgrades is holding us out for so long. But we can do that later after we have like big ore processing. Oh, speaking of the docket, that's done. Nice. Oh, and that's done after just over 5 minutes. That's not bad at all, really. Like, again, 4 stacks, that's really not bad. Of course, we're going to have passive HSSG, but for anything that isn't HSSG, that'll be really good. Speaking of passive HSSG, I think that's probably what we're going to be doing next. And by next, I mean I'm probably just going to, like, show you clips of it because it's like, do you really want to see me place down a bunch of macerators and mixers? Whoa! It's a bunch of blocks and a bunch of logistics. Woo! It's very exciting, I know. We'll talk about passive ABSs when we get there, but I mean, for things like Enderium, we don't care about this, and I don't think it's very exciting. I've shown you how I do this before. You can go back and watch the ABF video. ABF, EBF video. So I'll be back shortly, and probably have a little bit more things to show you. Alright, we're back again, and things look a little different, yet again. I believe I had shown these before, but I don't believe these were here before. This is a circuit assembling factory with a cleaning maintenance hatch, so this will be where we make all of our circuits forever, presumably at least. We have a dozen laser engravers here. We could set up 4 more for the remaining 4 colors, but I have currently no need to, so I will not yet. The thing that kept me off of making the large factory here is that we need a minimum of, I want to say it's 50 casings? Yes, 50. And we get about 60 to work with, so we'd have 10 hatches for inputs, which is not great. I guess we could have technically 11, because we are included 1, of course. But 11 is not 12, and we'd have to make cuts or make 2, and we don't use laser engravers enough for me to feel like that's necessary. As you probably saw, ore processing is done-ish. For the most part, we're just using tag buses. Things like putting raw materials and ores into the macerator to turn into crushed ores, which go into the chemical washer or the chemical bath. We still need to set up the extra chemicals that we're going to put into this one. Things like sodium persulfate, mercury, and I believe nitric acid is important, but we already have nitric acid, so that's no biggie. The thermal centrifuge was slow, so I made our first parallel control hatch of the master variety. This is a 16 parallel, so it keeps up just about as well. And basically our entire ore backlog is done, except for things such as the purified indium ores, which we need to move the indium line up here, the platline ores, which we need to move the plat line up here, and all of these things that I want to run through some form of washer, such as platinum, which I would like to run through mercury. For palladium. Speaking of palladium, we're rhodium plating it automatically. You didn't get to see this one because it was really awkward and I was kind of scratching my head and it was very ugly, I won't lie. So we have 4 more ABSs here. These are on LuV and Naquata coils because we just had a bunch of extra Naquatas after we made the trinium down here. These are super pretty, by the way, when they're on. So we have rhodium-plated aluminum palladium on passive, HSS on passive. Naquata alloy is not on passive fully yet. This is because we don't have trinium or osmiridium dust on passive, and technically not Nequata either. Osmiridium is something that is technically passive, but technically not. This will be a lot better soon, once we go to Glacio, which I imagine will be quite soon, actually. Yeah, and then we have all of the molten stuff going into this vacuum freezer here. We're just kind of cannibalizing this end steel wire here, because I feel like if I wanted to make more mixers and stuff, we wouldn't put them here. These two spots might be for osmiridium and trinium dusts, respectively. And then we have to move over to this one and those two up there. Suffice to say, I don't think this will last us the rest of the pack, but that's fine. We'll get over that. You know, we'll live. One thing I'm noticing is every time I come down here, well, not every time, but sometimes when I come down here and we should be producing power, or the turbine should be running, excuse me, sometimes it will have this one turn on, but not the rest of them. I forget if I showed up the cleaned up version of this. We have the cover down here at the bottom, and I believe probably like somewhere on one of these sides, or maybe the back, is the cover that we use for the monitor over in HV. Yes, we have a redstone cover that is transferred through the laser node down there into each of these laser nodes here, which powers this block, which powers the cover at the bottom here. And so it's 4 with button inset. The button inset like name is not very helpful. It's usually inverted, but like it keeps saying it's not. It's inset, right? Like it's, yeah. But for some reason, it's just not taking it on these ones, and I really don't know why. Like, this one works fine, but these 3 don't. Nothing's different. Like, these are all machine controllers? Am I missing something? I don't understand. Should it be on normal? I don't know. I'll do some more tinkering with this, but this has been really throwing me for a loop here. Maybe I'll just flip the settings and see if that works. Also, I added lights in here, if you couldn't tell. Well, to one half of the room. We'll light up the rest when it's more pertinent. Anyway, as I'm sure you also saw, we made our first ZPM machine of the assembler here, and thus our trinium coils, as I mentioned earlier, which means we are technically now into feeding the machine and the ZPM age. I feel like we haven't really spent that much time in LuV, but I'm sure we will more once we get to the HPCA, or the High Performance Computing Array. We'll worry about this another time, though, because this is what my eye's on today. Cryolobus. And the Tier 4 rocket. This actually looks pretty cheap, I won't lie. Like, the nose cones and rocket fins are the exact same as they were before, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, like, look at this. We could just, like, make this right now. The remainder of it is a little trickier. We need 12 cryolobus for the plates, another 24 for the tanks, and the engine requires 3 dark solarium thrusters, which is a little pricey, I won't lie. Thankfully, we only need the 1, so we only need the 3, and I've been setting up some patterns. Oh, yes. Well, I mean, everything else is easy to do, right? These dark solarium thrusters, of course, require some cryolobus wires. And cryolobus we get in a couple different ways. You can get it from the dust, which you can make from skulk and red steel, or blue steel. I believe you can just macerate skulk for this, which is, like, fine. It's not a bad recipe, honestly, but we have a lot of warden tendrils that we can use. And by we have a lot that we can use, I mean I've been doing this. These are 4-2 in the EBF, using some of our cetane boosted diesel, which I have turned off for the time being, just entirely. We now have 16,000. Our plasma turbines have been doing quite well, so I haven't really needed them. They produce, like, all of 6 of them, I think, produce, like, a turbine's worth of power, give or take. Maybe, like, a turbine and a half. So that's just a case of, like, we should just make more turbines if that's the case. But we can worry about that another time. We can do that soon-ish. The other awkward thing is that hot cryolobus isn't cooled in helium, it's cooled in cryothium. And it's the only thing cooled in cryothium, which is a little weird, but that's not a big deal, honestly. So we've been crafting the hot version and just manually cooling it down. Looks like I need some more warden tendrils, though, so we'll be backlocking that shortly. In the meantime, I believe there was something else I needed to be doing here. Ah, yes, the ender crystals. So the other thing, of course, that makes up a dark solarium thruster is dark solarium. Dark solarium is actually not that bad. It's dark steel and solarium, kind of like how you expect, except it's with a tritium coil and tritium gas. Speaking of tritium gas, this is what we, this is the slow part of our plasma production. We have a lot. We don't really need to run the plasma turbine super often, so we make a ton of this excess. Once again, we're getting this from ender air distillation, and it looks like something's backed up. I guess our basic helium. Okay. I guess we'll just chuck another upgrade on it. That's fine. I was considering throwing a void upgrade, but like, I mean, why waste it, right? Oh no, helium's not what we use, it's the deuterium. Well, it's good to have helium. Anyway, while I'm waiting for some more warden predictions to finish up, I have also been working on a little side project here. The Dark Solarium Jetpack is a dearly beloved of mine, and I want it very badly. We have everything for it, except for this annoying little thing down here. This is a data module, and it requires a ZPM circuit assembler and wetware circuit boards. I don't know why the quest is up here, if you need, like, down here, but, you know, it's not the first time this kind of thing's happened. I believe you also need the research station, which is over here. Like, this is gated until, like, here, like the wetwares. Wetwares! Like, I don't know why it's not just like a tick off like right around here or here, and why it's up here. It shouldn't be up here. You need all of these things to get it. It should be over here. I don't know. Oh, hey, look, that's done. I guess we should start requesting some of the cryolobus just to save some time. Cryolobus is eventually used in a superconductor. I believe it actually is a superconductor of some variety. Yes, it is. It's the UV superconductor. Oh, and it's a 4 amp. Oh, powerful. So we're definitely going to want this passive at some point, but we get it passive later. Right around here, I believe. But this requires a whole bunch of other stuff, namely Fusion 2, which is after the circuits of the crystal variety up here. This is probably something we'll do next time. I would definitely, I mean, you know me, I always love new circuits. And these ones seem pretty interesting, actually. Again, we'll look more into this later, but it's, you know, it seems cool. I'm very interested in trying it. This is the part of the game I've actually been excited for, is all the very wacky setups that you have to do. Because as much as I enjoyed things like the PTFE and PBI lines of what if you took item A into machine A, and then you got item B, which you put into machine B, which you got into machine C, which gives you item C, so on and so forth ad nauseum, I don't, actually. Not at all. That's why I didn't look in oil chem at all, because it sounds boring. This, however, is a bunch of other things that I'm actually very interested in. The Skulk Vat, especially, again, we'll talk more about this later, it seems like a very interesting automation challenge. I imagine a lot of the things down here will be very interesting automation challenges, and I'm excited to take them on, head on. But we need to take, you know, steps before we get there. Oh yeah, here's those coils, by the way. 3 minutes for 2 cryolobus, though, which is, that one is my fault to some extent. It's 90 seconds per if you use the cryolobus dust, but this gives us 2 because we're using tendrils. And it is far and away the slowest if you use cetane boots to diesel. If we had gene gasoline, which I see no purpose in making, really, or having made, it would have been half the time, which would be nice, but we'll worry about that later. I mean, 3 minutes for 8's pretty bad, but, you know, we'll get over it. Alright, took a little bit, but we got there. Tier 4. Whoop. I forgot it explodes. Ooh, it's a lot bigger. A lot cooler. I like it. Alright, let's fuel her up and prepare for liftoff. Yippee! So I assume it's in Proxima Centauri? Yes, Glacio. You, land. Oh. Hold on. Hello? Oh. Oh, look at these trees. I wouldn't think there would be trees on a frozen landscape, but I just goes to show how much what is that? Is that a critter? Is that a goat? A Glacian ram. Well, hello. Whoa, whoa. It's quite large. I mean, yeah, there are trees here, sure enough. I would have expected a sapling, not the leaves, but, you know, it's a new planet. I don't... the inner machinations of it are truly an enigma. Ooh, these are pretty. Nice texture. Let's go prospecting. What do we got here? Got a big old diamond vein over there. Some sodalite. Little... Oh yeah, there's the good stuff, that iridiosmine. Yeah, let's go search it a little bit. The giant moon, or perhaps a sun? No, because that's the star. That giant moon is very odd. I wonder if there's anything around here. Oh, is that a lush cave? Just like a normal lush cave down here? Oh, is that electrotine maybe, or is that iridiosmine? That's electrotine because it's glowy. Man, who would have guessed that at the bottom of this planet is tons of flora and lapis. Oh, and a whole geode. Wow. Okay, here's a bunch of stibnite and realgar. I believe this is all arsenic, which is good. Always good to have a big source of arsenic. Ooh, what a pretty stone. Oh my gosh, what is this? There's a big pile of just everything, isn't it? It looks like the Naquata is not like super dense or anything like that, but it's definitely not bad. I mean, it's actually quite wide, of all things. Oh wow, the fields here are actually very large. Let's go pop down the miner over here. Actually, over there. We should also definitely consider doing the new miner here. It's a bunch of IV components, and we could take it all the way up to LEV theoretically. Oh, we could even make another one if we really wanted to, but I don't see a necessary need for that. We get a 5x5, which wouldn't be bad. Maybe we hold out just a little bit longer until we can get the Elite Miner 2. Yeah, why not? We'll just we'll hold out until we can get this. I feel like power transfer is also not going to be that big of a deal, because we have the LaserIO nodes now, or the advanced nodes rather, these things. So we could theoretically just like bring a thing up here and convert it into however much we need. So honestly, we could probably consider making this right now. Maybe I should, actually. All right, cool. This should mine a huge area. It's a 7x7. What is that? What is that? Oh, I think it's just the leaves. It's just the leaves. Okay. Man, these rams are pretty cool. I like them. I like the noises they make. They're cool goats. Yeah, so there's just like a whole bunch of everything here, from Naquata to Caymanite to random garbage like Zeolite and Trona. Zeolite is like nothing. It's basically just like clay. It's like the clay stuff. There's a bunch of stibnite here, which is nice. It's always good to get some more antimony. Tetrahedrite, I believe, is a platline ore, was it? Or something? And of course, there will be other good things, like Realgar for arsenic, which is of course wonderful, and just a bunch of other stuff. We'll eventually set up an ender chest here, once I have more filters done for what I want to go to, like the mercury and sodium persulfate chemical baths. But for right now, we'll just leave this as a buffer chest, and we'll come back here whenever we need to. Our riches grow. And I have a lot of footage that needs editing. I don't know how long the episode is. So I will go. Woo! Ladies, gentlemen, and everything in or out between, we are rich. I have run the miner and all of its riches through the ore processing. Look at all of this iridium. Look at all of this osmium. It processes into auto-mixed osmiridium, and wait till you see our tritium counts. 5.4 thousand. Oh man, 15,000 Naquata. One use of the miner, one setup. I can just go move it and I can get this again. Oh my. 600 ruthenium, 200 rhodium. I mean, those aren't that good, but that's what the plat line's for. Speaking of the plat line, we will be resetting that up on this side up here. I think I'm just going to dedicate this whole top floor to ore processing and stuff. I was considering putting it over here, but then I looked at how many steps it is. That's not going to work. It's just not. I also want to do rare earths, so we might do that next time. Or maybe we'll just do it between episodes and I'll walk you through the steps because it's just steps, really. It's not really that interesting. The rewards are interesting, but the steps themselves aren't. But oh my goodness, look at these ores. There's so much stuff. 2,000 phosphorus, 3,000 gallium. Oh my. And it's vaguely color-coded, like a little bit, enough to where you look at it at a glance, you're like, wow, that looks pretty. The drawers aren't trimmed yet, but that's all right. I just kind of need to figure out what colors I want to go with. The fluid drawers, and I think I mentioned this before, don't really take the framing templates very well, unfortunately, and by very well, I mean at all. I wish they did, though. That would be really cool, but alas. My lobster's not buttery enough. I need like another, what do you call it, a square? I guess a square of butter? I don't know. I'm just using metaphors and stuff. That's also not including all the stuff that we have yet to process, which in here is everything in these bottom two rows is just like leftovers of stuff that should be electrolyzed or centrifuged. We have this ilmenite and ilmenite slag, which we need to process separately. The slag goes through an electromagnetic separator for a couple of goodies here. Niobium and tantalum are pretty good. The ilmenite dust needs to go through an EBF to get the rutile out of it. Stuff like that. And then these are all just ores that are better to just smelt rather than process. Like, we don't care about oxygen more than we do the manganese. And we also have nearly 6,000 tritium sulfide, which is about another 3,000 tritium. So that's pretty good. Oh my. Oh, and I also figured out what the issue with the turbines was. In the redstone card, I had this on strong, and the other ones were not on strong. They were on weak, which mattered, because I guess if it's weak, it only powers this block, and it doesn't power this block to power this block. I don't know. It's weird. If you know redstone, you probably get what I'm saying. It's something like this, I think, where it's like, this block is powered, but like these wires aren't powered. But if you use like a repeater or something, like, yeah, now it goes through. I think it was like this, but, We fixed it, so it's fine. Anyway, we can return to our docket and tick off this and that. And look at that! I kind of didn't think we'd get that far, but we did, which is awesome. So I think maybe next time what we'll look into is the crystal circuits. It's either going to be this or perhaps the research station and stuff like that. I mean, those are the only really two options we have to go with, right? Hey, maybe we'll even get both, depending on how involved each of these processes are. Between episodes, I'll move over the plat line and probably do rare earths, and maybe I'll move the knack line. I probably won't move the knack line, but I might up to this top floor here. I would love to get the whole plat line being automatically done, because that would be good. And there's a couple things that just need like further processing, like the, what was it? This stuff, the wrought platinum powder and the platinum sludge residue. This is a bunch of chlorine that we're just like not taking back, and this is a bunch of gold that we're just not taking. Like, that's not good. We should do something about that. Anyway, we'll do that next time. And for this time, thank you for watching. As a little bit of a later episode this time, there was a holiday, and I got a little sick. Those were unrelated, but they happened. They both happened. It wasn't that sick. It was just like, you know, one of those days it's like, ew, I feel bad today. Bleh. And so I didn't do anything that day. And one day matters a lot when you get only like 6 or 7 of them. Not intentional, but you can do the hands thing if you want. Enough rambling from me. Thank you again for watching. I hope to catch you next time. Bye-bye.